am Tim Costigan, and that is Brian Kreutz. He is the host. I am the hostess. Well, that's not really what I should have said. We have a cool thing going on for you today because we are going to recap the NFL draft. And I've taken a little bit upon myself because I collect hats from the cities the NFL teams play in. And it's real weird because the 4 teams in my Final Four that I picked are all the same colors as these little Mario guys on my shirt. We're going to do Brian's Final Four, my Final Four. We're going to get your input. We want you to come back and tell us who you believe you think won the draft, whether day 1, day 2, the whole thing. And one other thing I think I'd like to add, who was the best pick of the draft late in the round, like the sleeper guy, you know what I mean, like in the 6th or 7th? I believe it was McNamara. I'm not going to the Bengals here. I know it's a punter, but there's something about him and that Torrey Taylor, the one from Chicago. Some of these players, man, they come out to be really good. Like, and I just have a feeling about Austin McNamara. He did play at what, Texas Tech?
I believe so, yes.
And that's where Mahomes went, right?
Yeah.
So that's obviously the same learning tree. And the reason I thought the Bengals did good is because Georgia with Amarius Mims, Chris Jenkins with Michigan, Jermaine Barton, 1, 2, 3, Alabama. You got Alabama, Michigan, Georgia. Let's forget about the player completely. Look at the program. They're winners. Well, who do you think was a sleeper or a good one that came out of that draft? Your guys.
I think, well, sleeper-wise, it's not even the team I picked. I think Troy Franklin could be really good for the Broncos. They're going to need somebody to pair with Courtland Sutton, and they drafted Bo Nix, and they played together in college. So I think that's a big help.
That there, dude, see, I need to stop interrupting you.
You're fine.
Weird about that? They gave the Broncos a D grade, 2nd worst grade in the draft.
Yeah,
I think they think, and the worst grade was D- to Atlanta because I think they think both of those teams stretch too far to get the quarterback.
I don't know. Like I think those 2 quarterbacks also have more experience than the rest of the guys coming in, which helps. And they can probably start right away, except for Penix in his situation. He's behind Cousins, and it's going to be hard for him to probably not. He probably won't start for another 2 or 3 years.
Let me ask you a question about Penix, and I could be way off the wall on this. Yeah. And I know you're high on him and everything, but I've heard that they did that because of Vegas. They wanted to keep him away from Vegas. And I'm thinking, they're not even in the same division or the same conference. But my thought process on this, who does Vegas have that Atlanta could use? Max Crosby. They don't have a DN that's like that.
Yeah.
Would Max Crosby and Michael Penix trade or package seem to be something that could work out?
I don't think so. The reason I don't think so is I think really the reason why the Falcons did this is they've been hurting for quarterback for the last few years, and them having Ritter last year and the last couple of years was pretty much their starter, and not have anybody to really back him up. I think that's why they changed their thought process. As to also Kirk Cousins is coming off an ACL injury. He's 36 years old. Yes, he signed a big contract. But what's to say he gets hurt again or age catches up with him in 2 years? And now you got Penix there that can just step in after a couple of years of practice and getting to know the NFL. Sort of like
11 Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it's sort of what the Packers have done for the last, 20-something years. Yeah, forever. So I think that's why they did it. I think people were just really surprised. They're getting a lot of crap for it. I think it's actually a good move. They're thinking ahead. A lot of these guys get their draft grades based on what they see now.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I was just thinking, why did Vegas not try to trade up 5 spots or 6 to get him? I didn't get that.
I don't think Vegas had
13 or 14, and Atlanta was what, 8? Number 8.
Yeah.
Why did Vegas not try to get him?
I don't think Vegas had what the other teams were looking for as far as draft capital.
No, I mean, Atlanta to move up to get Penix.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they had enough to give Atlanta to come up. And if Atlanta really wanted Penix, it was going to be hard for them to come off that. So
yeah, that makes sense.
So, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So But yeah, my teams, my favorite teams in this draft. Actually, I mean, I love the Eagles.
Work from four up. Four
up. Ooh,
yeah.
Okay.
You're ranked. Yeah, on the draft board. I did 4.
Okay, you did 4. Okay. Well, why don't you go?
How many did you do?
I did 4. I would say my 4th team is probably, I really liked what Pittsburgh did at 4. They got a couple linemen, which they needed. They needed a center. They got a tackle, I believe. They drafted
Washington that the Bengals passed on.
Yeah, they drafted
Fuanta or something. Fuanta.
Yeah, I believe so. They drafted. What was that? They drafted that Roman Wilson from Michigan, which I think he's going to be a really good second wide receiver there. After they lost, they traded Dante Johnson to Carolina. So I mean, I think that's a good. I think they made a good selection there.
If I was Pittsburgh, I honestly would start Fields. I would not even start Wilson. I would not do it at all. Wilson would be my backup. And I'm a Bronco fan. Watching them play out there last year was an embarrassment.
Well, I mean, here's the thing with that situation is that they're both on the last year of their or actually Wilson signed a 1-year contract and Fields is on the last year of his rookie contract. So they're both kind of playing for.
I think if they go with Fields, they could be dangerous. I think if they go with Wilson, they're not going to live up to par.
Probably right. But I think they're going to run the ball a lot too. Their offensive coordinator.
Fields can run. He can pass. He's a lot more athletic, younger. I mean, I don't know. I just think all the signs point to Justin Fields.
I got you. Well, yeah, I went with Pittsburgh as my fourth team.
Okay, my number 4, I'll make it quick. My number 4 is right here. My
Cardinals.
number 4 is Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I like them too.
They filled a lot of holes. They're a young team, and I'm sorry, dude. I think the Rookie of the Year is Marvin Harrison Jr. I guess I'll say it right now. He's going to win Rookie of the Year.
I don't know, man. You got
quarterbacks. Kyler Murray is so athletic. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is so tall and big. He's going to get open, and that guy's electric.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you what, I'll give you a hint. Nobody else is going to know unless they watch the podcast. I'm picking him in our league.
Okay.
I'll say Marvin Harrison Jr., I promise you. Unless somebody grabs him real early.
That's a possibility. I mean, in our league, wide receivers go pretty quick. So, I mean, it wouldn't be too surprising.
Yeah, Kyler Murray's going to make him better, I think.
I think so. I also think, though, that Malik Neighbors for the Giants is going to have a hell of a season, too. And
he'll be good. He'll make Daniel Jones better.
And he might give –
He hasn't had anything.
He might give Harrison a run for his money as far as the Rookie of the Year. But then – I think Keon Coleman's going to be pretty good with Buffalo.
Yep.
Yeah, but moving on to my third team, and I don't know if a lot of people have them, but I got the Rams. They solidified some of their defense. They got an edge rusher, the first from Florida State. Excuse me. This is the grades I'm going with. I'm just looking at the draft. The results of the draft on my phone, but
fine. I don't look at it. I just ramble along.
But they also got Blake Corum too from Michigan,
and they got the number 1 kicker in the draft.
Yeah, but I think Corum's going to be really good. I think he's going to give Williams a run for his money as far as the starting running back is concerned. But I thought they did really good.
They got a guy to replace Aaron Donald too, right? D tackle.
Yeah. Yes, they did. They got let's see, who was it? Defensive lineman Brandon Fisk, I believe it was.
He's good, real good.
Yeah, and when they also got an edge rusher too. That Jared Verse is our first pick of the draft, so they did pretty good there, I think. Go ahead with your third team.
My number 3.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for this?
Go for it.
Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Your guys. You want to talk about them, or do you want me to? You can talk about them.
You can talk about what you want. Well, they're going to be my number one team. So
John or DeJean, Cooper DeJean, Quentin Mitchell. I mean, home runs at the defensive back position. My God, how do you get two guys like that in the top 40? How? I've never seen that. And then the reason I put them 3, you'll see when I tell you my 2 and 1 here. But they were solid at 3 in my eyes because Jeremiah Tyler Jr., man, I saw a picture of him the other day with a big football helmet on and his dad's jersey, and his dad's walking down the field. It brings back memories. That kid's going to be special. Yeah,
I'm pretty excited about that. I mean, I have the Eagles actually as my number 1 spot, but since we're talking about them, I mean, I thought they did very well. Mitchell, DeJean.
You want that team at all? They got better on draft day.
I believe so. I was really excited with their first pick, and then I think I was like a BW3s or something, picking up dinner.
I do a real quick shout out to one of my friends at work.
Yeah,
her name is Kirsten Heverly. She's a huge Philadelphia fan. She's from Philadelphia. She's been to Lincoln Financial Stadium, and I just want to say, man, bring Kelsey back out of retirement and win the Super Bowl.
He's going to ESPN. That's not going to happen, man.
I might have to talk him out of it.
How are you going to talk him out of it?
And connections. I'm talking about that.
Okay. Okay, so, all right. So
number 2.
My number 2 team is I have the Chargers, actually. I like what they did.
Chargers. I don't even have them in my top 4.
Well, I mean, they picked up all the offensive linemen that they needed, the offensive tackle. They also, in their second-round pick, they got Ladd McConkey from Georgia.
That's a future Hall of Famer, dude, Ladd McConkey.
Hey, I mean, what they got there, I mean, with the quarterback and everything. And
who was their receivers besides McConkey?
Who's the kid they drafted last year?
Did they draft any other ones, or was it just him?
It was him, and hold on. They drafted Brendan Rice, which is Jerry Rice's kid, in the 7th round.
Yeah, that's what I forgot about. That's a good move.
And then
I think he was undrafted, wasn't he? Or was he drafted in the 7th?
7th round.
7th round, yeah.
The 2000 or the 225th pick, and then.
How do you let him go to 25?
Well, I mean, he just hasn't. I mean, he didn't have a lot of publicity besides him being the son of a Hall of Famer.
I thought Cincinnati was going to grab him because of Thaddeus Moss when they did the experience with him, and I thought they were going to do the same thing with Rice Boy.
Yeah, but I mean, they also got Cornelius Johnson from Michigan with their last pick of the 7th round. So, but I think they did a really good job here. I mean, they got some defensive help. They picked up a linebacker, kid from Michigan. They picked up a defensive lineman from Alabama. And then, like I said, man, that Ladd McConkey is going to be really good. I'm telling you.
It's going to be probably a stud.
I mean, there's not much. Was it Quentin Johnson they drafted last year? Is there other wide receiver?
Palmer.
And then they got
Palmer.
Yeah, Palmer's still there.
I think so.
So I mean, I think the rookie's going to do very well there. Who's your number 2? Number 2.
Oh God, this number 2 and number 1 kind of pain me. Number 2 bothers me. But I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
You want me to tell you why?
Yeah, go ahead.
I love the Bengals. I like the Broncos from when I lived out there. And I'm just being honest. Baltimore always gets better. They're the one team in the draft, if you watch them every year, whoever their scouts are just amazing minds. Because every position that they need, they go get it. They're going to get best available or most potential, or they just know what they're doing. I mean, they drafted some DBs and some guys up front, and it might sound like people are like, oh, Baltimore gets a B grade. They get an A, in my opinion. They didn't really.
Go ahead.
Top of them, I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Wiggins, their number 1 pick. I think their first-round pick is going to be really good.
Get better right there with him already. They lost Stone to us, to the Bengals, but then they turn around and go replace him.
And they even
They got good minds, dude.
Like in the fourth round, they got.
I'm not a Raven fan at all. I'm not. You know that, but they just know what they're doing.
Yeah. But the fourth round, they got TJ Tampa, who was actually projected to go like the second round.
Like in the second round.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean,
that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, that's really good.
Doing.
Gotcha. So, like we talked about a few minutes ago, my number one is the Eagles. Again, they needed cornerback help. They needed defensive back help.
Let me try to put it in your head for you. I can't get over into your screen. So,
well, good luck with that.
We'll go like this.
I like that picture of you. Actually, there you go. That works right there. But I'm very happy with what they did. They needed, like I said, some defensive back help. They got two of the best corners in the draft.
Yes, not two of the best, probably the two best.
I agree.
I mean, really, honestly, they probably. I mean, Quentin was probably number one, and DeJean was probably number two, and they got him as 1 and 2, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, some of this, because I know before the draft, like a couple days before the draft, they're talking about the Eagles having to trade up to get a cornerback, but
they didn't even need to move. They traded back and got capital for next year and the year after that.
Well, here's the thing. Also, like they got lucky because I think was it the first 17? I can't remember how many picks it was. We're all on offense. That's offensive linemen, wide receivers, quarterbacks, all that stuff.
The defense went off the board when Latua or whatever, the one from Indianapolis.
Yeah. So, I mean, they got lucky. And all the defensive players fell and went down the draft board.
So it gave them more time to think, and then they went right there and got him.
Wow.
Almost like they were handed it away.
And then also you got to think about, like, you had the first round the first night. That was the only round. So then you had the teams had a whole other day to think about what they wanted to do. Like, yeah. But like I said, overall though, with the Eagles, like they picked up Hunt from Houston Baptist, a linebacker. That they need some linebacker help. Will Shipley is a running back from Clemson. Really don't need him. But also you got to think about though, like with the kickoff return change, there's going to be more kickoffs this year, and that guy can probably be you got
to remember your boys lost Swift, so they needed a big dude. They don't have Kenneth Gainwell can't carry that load.
We got Barkley though.
Yeah, well, I know. I'm talking about everybody that will play for past week 3.
We got a Hawk now.
Oh, my ankle! Oh, my leg!
I don't know. Not without offensive line, man. I think he's going to be good. You got to remember when he was with the Giants, he had to do everything because
he did.
So the Eagles pretty much.
We're going around. He plays blackjack in Vegas with some people we know, but that's another story for another day.
I have no idea. I don't have any mob connections, man. So,
do you want my number one now?
Yes, go ahead.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you're biased. That's your number one. You want my number one? That's your number one. Okay. You ready for this?
Yeah, go for it. The Steelers? Wow. You sure you're a Bengals fan?
I know it pains me. Number one and number two.
I know. You know,
because I look at the draft from top to bottom, and when they've got 3 stud linemen, they got some receivers, they got their defense. They already still have T.J. Watt. The only thing they need to do is start Fields. That's all they need to do. They can win the Super Bowl. I really believe that. If they do it with Wilson, they're doing the wrong thing. The good thing is, though, as much as he can be kind of edgy and have a little bit of an attitude, Mike Tomlin knows how to coach football.
But here's the thing.
If Russell's playing around, he can take it.
It might not matter as much with the quarterbacks as you think, because Arthur Smith is their offensive coordinator now, the former coach of the Falcons. He loves to run the ball. He's got 2 good running backs there that can run. So
he's number 2. Oh, yeah, the other guy. What's the other guy's name?
This is Jared Warren. So
Warren, yeah. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy's good, but I think Najee's going to have a great year. He didn't play very well last year.
No, he didn't. He
will this year.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're hitting about the 20-minute mark. Did you want to cover the Bengals real quick before we wrap up?
I don't think we need to. I think the Bengals, other than the fact that the Bengals did really good, I think the steal of their draft was, besides the punter, undrafted, was what's his name, McLaurin, the one from the tight end from Arizona.
Oh, that kid? Oh, Tanner McLaughlin.
Yeah, that kid. He went to Arizona. Do you know who else was a tight end that went to Arizona?
Oh, it was Brock. Or not Brock. Gronk. My bad, Gronk.
They're built exactly the same.
Yeah, but what about
he knows him. We don't know if he does or if he doesn't, but if Gronk knows him and works with that kid, come on.
But what about the kid they got from Iowa, though? That guy got drafted before him.
I then knew. That's the thing. They don't even need to have all those receivers anymore. They put the two tight ends in there and they just run the football. And Zach Moss is not Nixon, because Zach Moss is a lot bigger than Nixon.
But you're not going to pay Joe Burrow just to hand the ball off, though, either. So,
right. What I'm saying is it takes the receiver off the board that you don't have to worry about getting if in case something doesn't happen with T. Higgins.
I got you.
I think he will.
Well, they also drafted a Chris Jenkins. They drafted Chris Jenkins, which he's the son of Chris Jenkins. Which Jenkins is it? He played for the Jets. It's Chris Jenkins.
Panthers, right? Panthers.
I think he played for the Jets too, right?
Could be, maybe both. Probably both.
Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty good. The Burton. The pick of Burton, that's a little questionable. I know he's had some off-field issues.
But remember, Alabama.
Yeah,
football players learn in their mind, I went to Alabama. I'm going to go up there and play. They're almost like a pro team.
Yeah, but think about it, though. What about, not all the Alabama receivers pay off. Look at Jerry Jeudy.
All of them have, though. What about that guy from Philadelphia, Devonta Smith? Any good?
Yeah, he's good. He's good. They got Waddle from plays from.
He's good.
Yeah, he's good.
So now you're contradicting what you just said.
A little bit, but
he's good.
Yeah, he's not bad. Well, it might be right. So, but yeah, I think the Bengals did.
On tape. You said I'm right. That was on tape.
Oh, I slipped. I was zoning for a second. It totally slipped. But quick question though, since you got Pittsburgh and Baltimore 1 and 2. Okay. All right. Since you got them 1 and 2, do you think, okay.
Holy crap, I got three birds and a bar of steel. 3 birds and a bar of steel.
Well, I got one bird here, you just can't see it, so it's okay.
So I can put it over there if you want me to.
Never mind, you're not catching it, but that's okay.
Bird is trying to fly, right?
Well, yeah, it's kind of yeah. But what do you think Mike Brown's doing right now up there in heaven? You think he puts you in Bengal purgatory because you took 1 and 2 as Steelers in Baltimore? What do you think?
I'm confused. Mike Brown's the owner. He's not dead.
Not Mike Brown. Shit.
Paul Brown.
Paul Brown. Jesus. Either way, Mike Brown's pretty close to it. Let's be honest.
I'm confused. Was it Mike Brown? When the hell that happened yesterday?
It's pretty close. My bad, man. It's getting late today, so. But now I'm at Paul Brown, so yeah.
Well, I just went with my honest, looking at names and what they needed and everything. I just feel the Eagles would have been the home run by far if they could have replaced Fletcher Cox with a Chris Jenkins. A guy like that, love that. Because Fletcher Cox, man, you're not only losing him, you're losing Kelsey, your center, so you got your head of your offense, one of the heads of your defense, and then they went and they just had a lot of needs. And they got the back end right because those two guys are going to be good for a long time. Those two guys that your Eagles got are two guys that are going to be good players. They're going to have better days than others, but they're going to be consistent.
Gotcha. Well, okay.
Their offensive line was falling apart. Mm-hmm. And to compete in the AFC North, they needed to do what they did. I was surprised that the Bengals didn't take the guy from Washington, but I wasn't surprised that they took Mims. I think the Bengals are realizing you got 3 6'8" dudes on your offensive line. Now let's put them in front of Burrow. Burrow's 6'5". dippy dunk over the top of Chase, and you're gone. He's gone.
Hey, you could be right. You could be right.
I want Higgins to sign, though, real bad.
I don't think it's going to happen, man. It's too much money. I don't know. You're going to have to sign all them guys. It's kind of hard.
Yeah, like you said before, though, he has to play this year.
Yeah, unless they trade him, but yeah, he has to play the year. But okay, so we kind of let's wrap this up a little bit. I mean, that's kind of where our coverage with the NFL draft is. But moving forward to our next podcast, like where do you think we'll focus? Do you think the Reds? You want to go Reds next week?
The bat and ball out and start talking about some baseball. I
agree. What about the NBA playoffs?
I've got some baseball memorabilia that I can put on the screen like I did with the hats.
Uh-huh. Gotcha. Okay.
Back here.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha. Okay. Well, let's wrap it.
Though I want to say one thing, and I think we should do this next week, and it would be really cool if people chimed in and said theirs. I want to name your favorite player of all time. You got two for each sport, one living, one deceased, and you pick those two players and say who your all-time, who you like the most from baseball, football, basketball, whatnot.
Gotcha.
To work on a little homework for you when you get off of here.
A little bit. Okay. All right. Well, let's wrap this up, Tim. We'll shoot for next week about the same time next week. This is Brian Kreitz with the Dirty Cleats Podcast, Diesel Pete's, and Tim Costigan here with me. And you guys have a great day, and we will see you next week.
All right,
have a good week. See you. Bye.